Hello po, this is Syrup Lol and I'm here to show you how I consistently cleared and farmed the new hard mode boss Sentient Pest solo as Wylder. I would just like to preface this that I am not a speedrunner, but I like to do theory crafting stuff like this that takes my skill level into account. I hope other people find this useful and optimize it to suit them or get better results. First, we have the relic setup. I opted to use the relics that are available to everyone. I used the soot-covered Wylder's urn that can be purchased from the collector's signboard for 4 sovereign sigils. The yellow Evergel relic, the blue Wylder's Kill relic that you can also buy from the same merchant for 3 sigils each. And the besmirch frame which you can buy from the small jar bazaar for 1,500 merch. The only problem here is that these relics and urn requires at least one hard mode clear to have access to the vendor and currency. If you don't have clear yet, the only relic we want is either Flaming Strike skill or the starting weapon deals fire damage. Our game plan here is to use Wylder's basic weapon. If you press R2 or heavy attack after using the weapon skill Flaming Strike, there will be a follow-up that deals a lot of damage, while also temporarily coats your weapon with additional fire damage. Note that the fire damage is equivalent to using a fire grease and is bigger than the bonus that the Wylder specific Greatsword follow-up after using his skill gives. This counts as a weapon coating and doesn't stack with each other. Having this setup means that you will use all of your other slots to gain weapon passives or buffs like Golden Vow or Magic Fortification or Barrier of Gold. For what weapon passives to get, these are the ones that I look out for in order of priority. You can swap these around to better suit your playstyle if you like. Number 1 is taking damage boosts damage negation. You only need one of these as they don't stack according to the data miners, and just upgrade to whatever highest rarity that you see. Number 2 is increased attack power when two-handing. These stack, so get as many as possible. Number 3 is many or multiple glint blades. You can put this in your offhand and just two-hand your main weapon. Number 4 is Golden Vow, skill or incantation. You can use this to buff yourself between DPS windows or before the fight. Number 5 is Barrier of Gold or Magic Fortification incantations. These are good buffs to have versus the moth spells. They don't stack with Exalted Flesh or Boiled Crab though. Number 6 is Improved Damage Negation. These also stack, so just get how much ever you want. Number 7 is Successive Attacks Negates Damage. These also doesn't stack, so just get one. Number 8 is Increased Skill or Fire Damage. This also stack, but doesn't give as much as the two-handing trait. Number 9 is Damage Negation on low health. We can drop this if we get the Holy Ground on low health dormant power. Number 10 is Item Discovery if I don't have anything else to fill up that slot. Note that the on full health ones are very useful during the day, but I don't find them very useful during the Night Lord fight itself because of the poison mechanic and the small amounts of damage and multiple instances of damage that the moth deals. For the dormant powers, I like having improved physical or affinity, increased power, increased flask HP restoration, improve physical and non-physical damage negation, and create holy ground at low HP the most. Now for the pathing. We do our camp to get level 2, then we either head to a great church, the green church things, or a fort. Ideally, we only want to do these POIs just once per game, as the bosses don't give any dormant power and give little runes as rewards. I usually avoid main encampments and ruins right now, as these camps have a lot of enemies and take too long to kill at level 2. Also try to kill 1 or 2 extra small enemies so we will be able to hit level 3 after the boss. If there is no useful weapon passives, go for a blue greatsword or colossal weapon that we can temporarily use for the next POI. Do not beeline into churches. If there's one very close and in the path towards the first camp and Everjail, then do so. It's fine to just have one church for the whole run. Next, we go to an Everjail and do the boss there. Hopefully, we have our ult charge or be very close just in case it's a group or something hard. A little tip for Crystallians: to charge two-handed heavy attacks of the greatsword will break their hardened state, making them staggerable by light attacks. Now we may have enough time for one more point of interest before the circle starts closing in. Either do a mine or a field boss that you are comfortable fighting with at low levels while pathing towards the castle. Here, I like to avoid the watchdogs and the Zamor ruins because they take me a lot of time to clear. Also the bear or sleep ruins, unless I have a flamberge or pork greatsword because they have bleed on them. When you are near the castle, there is a merchant outside of the east side of the castle that we can use to upgrade our base sword to at least a blue quality if you haven't gone into a mine yet, or a purple if you already have it. Now we do the mini bosses in the castle and avoid the basement and the top for now. These mini bosses that drop weapons and dormant powers are the trolls, spear crucible knights, the lion, and the red-eyed banished knights. I like to avoid other enemies such as the shield crucible knights even if they are worth a lot of runes, as they don't drop any dormant power or weapon rewards. Depending on your speed and route, the circle might start closing at the second or third guy. Check the map if the edge is close and estimate if you have enough time to clear all the small mini bosses or just come back later. If you get to the castle early, after you clear all the mini bosses that drops dormant powers, go outside to the nearest grace and level up. Then you can check out the basement boss and see if you are comfortable fighting it. You can use your ult here and just use it to damage him and go back after the first day. Now when the last circle appears is the time that you can check whether there are churches that are still inside the circle or in the path that you can easily reach and go for them. On the second day, we will have a lot of choices. We can either go back and finish the castle, if we think we can easily handle those bosses, or go for ever jails if we are good in weapon passives, or go for ruins and camps if we want more weapon passives. Even if we go for ever jails, I still like to avoid killing the fort or church bosses here to save time. Don't stress if we only have 1 or 2 stacks of Everjails, that's totally fine, and we can make up for it by having access to more weapon passives or dormant powers, sometimes giving us more utility or defensive options versus going for stacks of Everjails and only having offensive options. Field bosses on the way are also fine if you think you can take them on relatively fast without dying. The start of day 2 is where I want to drop by a mine if I haven't already, just so I can have access to a purple weapon. If there is a shifting earth, I usually dedicate my entire time starting from when the first circle appears to that area, so I usually only have time for 2 to 4 POIs before we need to go there. I also like to make sure that I have Wending Grace and Small Pouch from the merchant and at least one flask charge here. Now we just finish day 2 in whatever style you prefer, focusing on filling up weapon traits and dormant powers first if possible. Now after finishing day 2, on the day 3 merchant, I like to buy a Wending Grace for safety, Exalted Flesh if I don't have the Barrier of Gold or Magic Fortification skill, and a few Warming Stones or whatever tears I can afford. You can drink the bubble tears and most of them last 120 seconds. Don't buy the Crimson Whirl bubble tear unless you have extra space because that only lasts 15 seconds. But if you do, all the magic attacks from the moth will heal you for 15 seconds if you use this tier. Now for the Night Lord fight. When they appear at the start, don't attack or get too close to them yet. When an orbital laser marker appears on you, just hold the dodge button and do a regular sprint and strafe left or right of the boss. Once we're outside the laser's range, let go of the sprint button for a second to let our stamina regen for a bit. The boss will charge at us 3 to 4 times, and the last time will have the rocks from the scorpion attack, so be careful about that. Now we use this opening to run up under him, behind his tail and legs. Target the tail or its butt and position yourself under him behind his legs. This also gives us a little bit of cover from the moth's magic attacks. Being in this position will force him to just a few attacks that are easy to dodge and punish. When he does his side stomp attack, you can just move or dodge towards him or the other side and punish with either one flaming strike combo or 2 light attacks. Then just circle back and go to our safe spot. We always want our stamina to be at least half so we can run away when the tail shakes. If our stamina falls below half or near empty, don't punish after a dodge and just let your stamina regen. If his tail shakes, hold the dodge button and sprint away from him. But try not to go too far or go in front of him. If an orbital laser is targeting us, as long as we keep moving or circling the boss, the laser shouldn't hit us. When the boss dies for the first time, it will transition into phase 2. When the boss starts resurrecting and the scorpion is targetable, do a flaming strike combo to buff your weapon with fire and just spam light attacks afterwards. Make sure to let your stamina regen near the end of the transition and move towards the safe spot again near the tail. The fight goes on like the phase 1 of the normal version with them separated and doing their own attacks. We can just do the same things that we have been doing and just focus down the scorpion. When the scorpion dies, Animus will start resurrecting and merge with him, giving us a perfect opportunity to do big damage. First, we reapply our buffs and quickly move towards the scorpion's head and drop a warming stone if we have the time. We let our stamina regen and wait until Animus is targetable, then start spamming Flaming Strike combos at him. I like to use 1 or 2 Flaming Strikes, then use my ultimate here. Be careful of the moss grab attack here, as getting grabbed will result in losing a big damage window. When they combine, it's mostly safe on the same spot, but there are now delayed shockwaves from the stomps. There is a new attack after he shakes his tail and screams, and will do a series of frontal slams with shockwaves and turn after each one. Behind his legs and under his tail is still safe, but be careful about punishing him here, as getting hit might lead to a chain of events leading towards death. The boss will take less damage in this form, but don't worry about it. Just keep hitting the scorpion because that damages the main boss as well. After a while, the boss will either leave the scorpion, making him take more damage and be able to be killed faster, or if you manage to kill the scorpion, the transition will begin again. Now just repeat this process until you get Animus HP to 0, then the fight will be over. So that's it. I hope you like this, and goodbye.